Okay, so thought we'd do a little video this morning to help you guys out there that are working in the rat rod world, and you know, when we deal with a lot of rust and when we deal with a lot of repair to the rust. I mean, the most important thing, and why I think a lot of guys aren't buying a lot of the vehicles that they would like to use, like similar to this 49 Chevy truck back here, is it might need some cab corners, it might need some door repair, it might need some fender replacing. And the big thing that's important to most of us is getting the patina even all the way through. And if we have to do a bunch of repairs, we're out, because, you know, most of the guys are looking for a nice even flow from the front of the vehicle to the rear of the vehicle. And so, you know, sometimes we have to go in and you know, change something out because it's just simply rotted away too bad, or it will even stop the purchase of a vehicle that really could have been an awesome truck, but you know, we didn't want to get into that heavy rust repair, not because we couldn't fix the rust, but rather we couldn't get the patina to even out and make it look like it wasn't a repair. And so, you know, when you pull it up on YouTube or you pull it up on the internet, you don't get a lot of help in these things. A lot of guys tend to want to keep their secrets, and you know, but I believe in sharing the wealth when it comes to these things. And so my video today is going to be, you know, what can I do to darken my rust after I've done a rust patina. And most of the time after you've sandblasted something and you go back in with your first coat or second coat, you know, it comes up very orange, which is a natural color for the new rusting, amen, that you'll see out there. Anything that get rusted fresh usually will turn orangey rust, you know, and then, you know, we don't have 30 years to wait for another period of this to get evened out and get to the color of the truck that I'm working on here today. And this particular fender is going to go on the right rear. The rest of the truck is pretty clean and straight. I did do a cab corner repair on it, but this color is not working with this dark rusted age look on the truck. And I don't want it to look like a butcher job. I don't want it to look like it was just a, man, the dude just had to buy another fender and here it is. I've seen so many trucks, they're green, they got a blue fender on it, or they're blue and they got a white fender on it or something like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, everybody is just picking it apart. And, you know, it's everybody's own desire on those things. My purpose is to help you to get the color in there. I've been in the paint and body business for 45 years. I've been in the metal art business for many years. And so here I am to just give you a few pointers, some things that you can do. And like I said, this fender now has been sprayed one time. Amen. It was sandblasted, and I sprayed it with vinegar, hydrogen peroxide, and salt all together. Another way of doing it is shooting a white vinegar on there, let it dry, then just go in with the hydrogen peroxide and salt, and that will give you the same appearance. You know, depending on how clean your piece of metal is or whatever you're trying to get out of that. Amen. The important thing is that it gets even and that it's clean when you begin to do that. And so there's similar solutions, you know, but when I got back, I sprayed this, I think it was last Thursday, and then I went off to town, and I come back in the shop today, and it's real orangey looking, which is not going to work for me. So there's some things that I can do to bring it down and bring it into what it is that's going to work on this 49 for me. And so there's many different solutions. You know, you can spray straight vinegar, amen, no hydrogen peroxide or salt in it, and spray a couple of coats on there and flash dry it with a you know, force dry deal, and it'll darken it out for you. It'll still have a bit of an orange tint, but it'll darken it out like I did on this corner here. You'll start to get the dark spots that you're looking for, depending on how much of the orange that you want to take out of it. You can also go back in with the same formula that you used to shoot the first coat, amen, and just do multiple coats. Well, depending on how much of your vehicle that you're trying to rust out, that can be a pretty lengthy process. And but it works good, I got to tell you that, amen. It works good if you're wanting to darken that out. And that's where I will say here on the end of this, that was the second coat on there. And if you'll notice, you're starting to get some of the redding color in there, which is what is turning it to a darker rust color. Amen. And you can see it coming out in here, which we're still trying to get to this dark color. Now, let me tell you something. Let me save you, amen, a whole lot of hours. And the one thing about rusting stuff out is hydrogen peroxide is cheap, salt is cheap, vinegar is cheap. It's really not an expensive way to go. You can also go with numeric acid. I don't use that because it's very toxic, amen. But I will tell you this, that if you start shooting a whole vehicle with the hydrogen peroxide and vinegar, you need to vent it out pretty good because it's going to knock you out of your shot, amen. It's going to stay that way because it usually takes about 8 hours to dry on a natural dry, unless you're forced drying through a space heater or something like that, amen. But I need to get this color, amen. This orange, even though it looks nice and even, it's not working for this truck. I don't want it to look like a repair. I want it to look like it's all been there together, and it will make the client that I sell this truck to, amen, a nice even piece. The one thing about me know in the old metal is that you can hammer and dolly this stuff. If you buy a used fender that's full of Bondo, no big deal. Get the die grinder out, knock it off, get your hammer and dolly out, and you can hammer this stuff right back to almost new, where you don't need any body filler on there. And so now you've not lost the use of a good old, amen, fender because you thought it was just full of putty or had paint on it and it had so many repairs you didn't want to work on it. That's not the case. These things hammer and dolly out very easily. It just takes a little bit of time, a little finesse. But boy, you can really make a fender that you bought for 25 bucks better than a $300 fender that's aftermarket. So, amen. But what I need is that color. What I need is that dark brown. And I'm not interested in putting a potato over the whole thing. That does work, but that's a very lengthy process if you're doing big deals. And so let me give you a secret, amen, that works very well. Amen. When you want to age, amen, a newborn patina rust, and you don't have time to do 25 coats or 30 years to wait on it, I use what they call a boiled linseed oil. You can get it at Ace Hardware, any hardware store. Lowe's has got it. It's about $7 a can. And it's amazing what this will do. Amen. I use this really on a lot of the cars that I flip to give it an age process and just kind of clean it up. Amen. If you just wipe it on there, you're going to get a semi-gloss finish on the product that you're putting it on. Amen. But here's the ticket, is that you need to wipe it off. Amen. And so all you have to do, amen, I use what I call, amen, just a regular Windex, amen, that you can just wipe off, you know, wipe on and wipe off, and just get the stuff off it, which I've already done here on this particular fender. But I need that. I need chocolate dark rust, and I don't have 30 years to wait on it, and I don't want to shoot this thing 25 different times and wait 25 days. And so you take some linseed oil and you put it on a rag, amen. Doesn't take a whole lot of it, amen. And you get your rag, amen, float up pretty good. I highly recommend you wear gloves with this because it tends to stay with you, amen. But this is what's going to happen. Now you're going to think that it's just got wet. That's not the case, amen. You just take this and you begin to wipe the oil on your product. And notice how it's already going to the dark color that I'm looking for on this truck, all right? So what this is doing is it's beginning to just soak into the embossed texture, amen, that the rust is created. And you just rub that in there, amen. You don't have to go overboard with it. All you want to do is darken it out. And all of a sudden, amen, I'm almost where I need to be as far as the color on the truck. Now, here's the ticket. There's a lot of guys, amen, like when I'm flipping a car or something and I want it to just have that little bit of touch of cleaned up, I will wipe that on there and leave it alone. It'll dry in about an hour, but it'll leave that semi-gloss look on it, and it'll stay for about 30 to 45 days in that look if you don't leave it outside. Amen. And so, but what I want to do here now is I want to wipe off and almost dry it naturally with the rag and get this flat look, which you can see I'm beginning to take some of the orange out of it, and I get this flat look, and this is going to dry almost instantly to the place that you're just not going to get nothing on you. Amen. And now after about an hour, now you can see already just by looking back at this, that my shading is getting very close to my truck. Now, I did a spot a little bit earlier because I wanted it to dry out, and if you'll notice the inside spot of this, that has been on there for about an hour now, and it's finished. Amen. And so if I take that, amen, over here to my truck, la-di-da, there am I. Amen. I've done 30 years worth of sitting out in the weather, amen, with just a nice bottle, amen, of hydrogen peroxide. Amen. It has salt, hydrogen peroxide, and vinegar in there. Shot one coat on there, but I wanted that finish. Took a rag with some linseed oil, wiped it on there, dried it off to get the excess off. And in an hour, this is going to darken even more to make it look like the other spot that's been on there for an hour, which right now, I could say I'm done with this. It's matching very well. The fender is going to look very good on the truck. And there you have it. You don't have to stress about doing a new rust out patina on some new sheet metal. You might have sandblasted your truck or car. You might have done your rat rod. Amen. And you're saying, man, it's just not working out. All I'm getting is the orange. Just do a few things. Let me save you the grief. There's some things you can do, and you're going to be right there with not a lot of money, and you're going to be happy. This same effect works on metal projects, works on anything you're trying to rust out. You can do the same thing. If you're on where you want to keep some of the orange and just show some darkening, get you one of them $2 brushes and just dab it in where you want it dark. Get the look that you're looking for, wipe it off with a rag so that it'll stay, and you knock off the oil top, and there you have it. And you can come right back in. Once this dries out really well, if you're going back to where you want a clear coat, maybe you want to do a satin finish to protect it, or some guys, some of the trucks we do gloss. We just clear it down, we wipe it down good with a good degreaser. Amen. And an 8,000 product is made by Matrix, and we wash her down. Amen. Shoot 2 coats of clear on there. If I'm looking for a semi-gloss, I put a flattening agent in it. There you have it. You've protected where you want to be in the color for your patina, and now you're good to go. So there you have it. Amen. This is Chris at Fat Man Cycle Works, Chops and Rods. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up on you can get there. Don't be afraid that you have to do repair. Just get the information. Have a great day. See you.